What is up, guys? So today we're gonna finish up getting the rear suspension on the Corolla. Now I had to take the upper links to work and modify those two sides of the Heim to make them fit inside the body, so we're gonna get that done today and try to get the rear sway bar on today. I want to do the fluids, but I'm gonna wait to do that till we can get access to a lift. It'll just make things way easier for doing the transmission and diff fluid. But for today, we're gonna try to get this done so all the rear suspension's put back on and ready to go. So let's get going. All right, guys, so I'm gonna kind of explain what happened last time because I didn't really get a good chance to. So right there, those sides of the four links were actually too wide for the body because they made them the same width for the traction brackets. So that's why I had to modify those ones for the upper. Like, I stole the ones from the upper and then put them on the upper. So that's why I modified those. And just to kind of explain why it was such a pain to get these on both sides, the tolerance for these is so small, and you have to get this bolt through, this other bolt up here with a shim through it, which is very tricky and hard to do. So it just makes everything a huge pain. I actually had to trim these a little bit to get them to slide where I could. Like, this was actually hitting back here at first, so to trim it, kind of keep trimming, move, kind of trim this inside to get to slide where it needs to. So it definitely took a lot longer than I thought to get these on. But as you can see, they're fully on now, and I haven't adjusted to what the pinion angle should be, but until I can get a gauge, we won't know for sure. So that's another time for a lift. But for now, we're gonna work on getting these uppers swapped out and see how they go. And I am kind of worried about the clearance in that. I've had a few people kind of reach out to me about that. Like, if I would have enough clearance being as low as I keep the car and kind of how it is. So we're actually going to jack the axle up real quick and just kind of see what it looks like with the stock arm and kind of judge if there's enough to make it with the new arm. So do that first and see what we get. Okay, so I jacked up the axle just a bit just to see what we got. Like, it's very hard to judge, but it's going to be close. So I think the only way to really know is we're going to have to put one on and just see if it will bind when it's at full droop and when it's under full compression, I mean, and see what happens. So let's just get that done. Okay, I got them adjusted to where they need to be to match the OEM links. So I'm gonna try to put this end in the body of the car and the upper one that I modified into the axle. It just seems like it has a little bit more room, so it'll make my life a little easier. And then just try to get everything in. It comes with brand new hardware, so that's always nice. So putting anti-seize on each end of these and inside, and then I'll do the same on the bolts just to prevent them from getting stuck inside each other. So let's get these put in. Okay guys, so we got it into the body side now. So that was kind of a pain just getting it lined up. You can't really see anything on this side with this, how long that bolt is. So that's in. So now our trick is to get this upper in and get it all situated and then copy it on the other side. So see how this goes. All right, so I got them in. I didn't film it going in because I thought it was gonna take some time, and the upper bolts went right in. So that was awesome, but it's hard to judge the clearance up there. I mean, the locking ring is the hardest thing up there, and it looks like I have the axle jacked up so it's supporting its weight and supporting the car, so it should be okay for clearance. We're just gonna have to drive it and see how it does at first and then go from there. But in all, I mean, besides the hiccup of this lower link having to make that modification, you know, these have gone on great besides the traction brackets. But so copy the other side, and then we're gonna work on getting the sway bar put in as well. All right, guys, so 4 links completely in. Got the other side on. I'm gonna take a little break for a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back and get that sway bar taken off and get the new one put on. I'm also gonna adjust the pinion angle just a bit. I feel like I have adjusted up a little too high, so adjust that and see what that does for us. Okay, so we got the OEM sway bar out. So I'm gonna work on getting the Whiteline set up so then we can get that in the car. Then we'll have the whole rear end of the car all taken care of suspension wise, and then all we gotta worry about is fluids before opening day at Drift Indy. So pretty excited to get back to driving this car and just having fun with it, with friends and everything. So let's keep going and get this done. So this is all the hardware included with the Whiteline rear sway bar. You have the brackets that'll go into the frame of the car, your end links, all your hardware, but then you are gonna need to reuse your OEM sway bar brackets. So make sure you get those and they're in good shape. New bushings and then lubricant. So I might get these on and kind of show you how it goes from there. So as you can see, the bracket kind of has an orientation to it. So you want that lower one pointing down and that upper one pointing up. Then that will just line up perfectly for you with the OEM bolt. So go ahead and get those on. Okay, so I ran into my first issue, which is this bolt is not kind of positioned correctly. You can kind of see it's off center. So I'm gonna have to take like a step bit or something, drill both these out to kind of get enough wiggle room to move it back and forth, get it to fit. It's kind of annoying, but I guess that's how it goes. All right, guys, I got them both on both sides. I actually had to elongate this lower hole to make it so it bolt in correctly. So just had to sit there with the Dremel and keep going until it fit. So it's on both sides now. As you can see, both sides are fitted up. So continue on getting the rest of the sway bar on after this. So pretty happy now that those are on. I was pretty annoyed at first that, you know, had to modify something once again, but I guess it's the name of the game with a 30-plus-year-old car. Okay, so on here it's showing soft is all the way out, medium's in the middle, and hard's all the way tight. So I think we're gonna try to be somewhere in the middle and see how it feels once we get out and drive. So I'm gonna set those up to get those to sit in that position, and then keep going on that and making more progress. guys, everything is on. I got the sway bar on, all the four links on. I did run into a slight issue, which this side you're gonna be like, well, you see I have this set on that front stud and then it in the third hole. You're like, well, why would you not go to the second hole? Well, that was the initial plan. I then started tightening this side and that stud just pulled right out. So for right now it's set like that, so it's probably more of a hard setting, but when I have some time and access to a welder, I'm gonna take this back off and weld that stud back on there properly, so then we can run it that way. But for now, everything's in there. I also adjusted the lower links to kind of bring the diff down a little bit, so that pinion angle is probably in a better spot. I was looking at it with some weight on it and it looked way off, so went ahead and adjusted that as well. I know that's not the proper way. Ezekiel, don't get upset with me, but at one point I'm gonna get a gauge finder and measure the nose of the transmission and the nose of the pinion and get it all set exactly. But for now, this gets us here and we're all back together. So now get the wheels back on and finish this up for the day. Alright guys, so we got everything finished up on the rear end of the car. Got those new 4 links by Power Shop Max on and the new rear sway bar. Ran into some issues for sure, but we got them all conquered. So everything's on the car. Won't be able to drive it until kind of the salt kind of dissipates around here and it stays a little bit warmer. But when that happens, we'll get to see how well everything feels. I do have opening day at Drift Indy coming up here soon, beginning of April. So I'll be out there and that'll be kind of the first time we can see how everything feels with all the new suspension and that. Still need to do fluid changes before that as well, just to make sure everything's good for the start of the year. But until then, I think we're all set and put the Corolla back in the thing and go ride my bike and have a good day. You guys like, comment, subscribe. See you later.